HHS has decided to cancel about $11 billion in, get this, COVID funding. That's still a thing. Like 5 years later, there's still COVID money going out from the federal government. Now, the libs are all upset about this because they're saying, well, this money was meant to do something and there's projects that'll be left unfinished. That's what the New York Times is saying. But at the end of the day, RFK saying the pandemic is over and HSS will no longer be wasting billions of tax dollars seems appropriate. Let's bring our panel back in to discuss this. Kevin, I want to start with you here. Why were we still spending any COVID money? And that's not even backtracking all the way back. Should we have ever done it? It's why were we still doing it before we can even get to whether it was a good idea overall?
Well, here's the thing, Jobob, is it was the biggest way for them to wash money to whoever wanted to fraud the government out of it in the first place. We know that millions, if not billions, were used from PPP loans and fraudulently taken out. And so what we're seeing here is just constantly what Doge has been doing is canceling spending that the average American didn't know was happening. But now that they do know, they're like, hey, what the heck? My taxes went up and this is what it was going to a pandemic that, let's be honest, did we really need all that money in the first place to go to as many things as it did? No, we didn't. And that's what Doge is doing, constantly cleaning house.
Yeah, I want to correct my statement a little bit earlier. The quote that I read was from HSS spokesman Andrew Nixon, not RFK, but I can't imagine RFK would think any differently. Bo, at a certain point, unfortunately, I think Americans are going to start looking at this sort of thing the next time libs are in power and thinking, wow, it turns out a lot of people were screwing over the government. I wonder how I can get in on that. Again, don't condone that, but I think that's going to actually start happening. Considering COVID money was still going around, is this going to be a big problem the next time the libs hold, the majorities and the executive branch?
Yeah, I mean, you might as well get in on it, right? We went from 2 weeks to slow the spread to 5 years to stop the fraud, and I just think that's awfully ironic. I know if the liberals come to power, what I'm going to do is set up an NGO that's going to get government money so I can become a millionaire overnight. I don't know why anybody wouldn't do it, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that you said that specifically. I think you know a guy that looks a lot like you that when the libs come into power may make, I don't know, a couple $1 billion right off the bat.
By the way, I have a twin brother, so just letting everybody know.
Yeah.
Ironically,
like
has
that.
the same exact name.
I love the 2 weeks to slow the curve and 5 years to stop the fraud. That's a good one. You should patent that.